Hey guys, Genlux here, back with our blind playthrough of Riven. So last time we yeah, we went back to the jungle island. We found the fire marble dome, found the throne room, rode the gallows up to the prison, opened the shortcut to there, went into that, found the Skyrim puzzle, basically with the stones, the 25 stone puzzle, and then now we're here in the Rebel area, which that's very impressive. Why would it let us zoom in on the bowl? Okay. Pretty cool. Kind of like the other village, right? Oh, okay, there's a like I backed away and there's some dude just, is he chilling or what? Okay. Hmm. Well, maybe now that we saw something. Oh, we're on the bed. Such as it were. Okay, here we go. Yep. Is that, what is that?
Katarina e now da saya e palo. Yapa e manai e lepo. Mio ti sai. Bekaretere wira pe yelo kene falapo. Ti sai. Why te fulupe?
Sounded like it was locked, though. Interesting that she... First, I saw the thing and I didn't know if it was like a spear. But, so, they don't trust us... They don't trust us enough to let us roam free, but they trust us enough to, like, let her... to come into the prison cell, or into our area alone. Okay, we have 2 books. I wonder if one's the book that they got. Okay, we got them both. We just grabbed them. That's the whole point of looking at this. Okay, so this was our first book, right? Okay. The island has resumed the familiar pattern of decay that is the hallmark of my father's work. Interesting, right? You know, it actually... Oh, more stuff.
Sirapo. Ibuko mo buko wisipo.
More books?
Na vene. Tapo mo revene beno.
Oh!
Now, Katarina ne. Wisifa polo ya sepe yai.
Katarina, I assume is Catherine, but I recognize that. as... So we're not going to go in there just yet. Because this little thing on top of it is something that activates the book, right? That's what Gein's journal talked about. And so I assume this is a linking book. Let's actually take a look. And the fact that this is like this is probably not the book that... Oh! It's from a burned book. That's really clever, actually. Oh, I see. Okay, so that's how you get back there. So, yeah, we're not going to be able to wander around this place. Oh, and you can even see the image. Okay, well, so I found it really interesting that what is it? That Gein, like, he's arrogant, right? And he's a tyrant. So the whole thing about Atris, like, you know, I've seen the decay, and the decay always follows the same pattern because that's how it works with my dad, right? It's always my dad's pattern. It always works like this. You know, where but what was it? Like, but even in the dad's journal, Gein's journal, he's like, I can't figure out why it's decaying. Or maybe he didn't care. Maybe he was more interested in why it's not. He's like, this world also is unstable, but it's like him. He's the one that's like destroying the worlds. Okay, so we had this one, and they gave us 2. I assume this is the book that we had to start, right? And I assume let's save, because I assume we'll be trapped there. Do you want to save over 9? Yeah, we'll save over 9. That's fine. Resume. Because this is the trap book, right? It even shows like the Riven symbol, though, or the 5th age or whatever. But I think...
No, dai. Nel senso, io non è poco si può.
Yeah, we're stuck in there.
Frai dopo.
There you go. The end credits. The bad ending. Oh, there you go. I was like, this is the linking book, or this is the trap book, right? It looks like a linking book, but... Yeah, I wonder... So could they see me? Catherine, Atris, Nella, Gein's guard, Moiety prisoner, Lyra, village boy, Gein scribe, girl in jungle, Moiety scout. So I wonder... In the first game, there was the 2 books. And those were Atris's sons? Was that the deal? Let's look this up while we're... Mist. Can you play Mist Online for free? Its name is now Mula, aka Mist Online Uru Live again. Really? Okay, and then Mist Interactive 3D Edition, a complete remake, allows players to move around the mysterious, puzzle-laden island in real time, rather than the original game where you click through environments that are pre-rendered. Well, I feel like, oh, is Mist Online still active? Interesting, okay, well. Yeah, I don't know, Okay, so Mist. Solving puzzles allows the player to travel to other worlds, which reveals the backstory of the game's characters, help the player make the choice of whom to aid. Are we getting a post-credits scene here or no? No. Okay. Plot. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Island's library. 2 books can be found colored red and blue. Books are traps that hold Cirrus and Achenar, sons of Atreus, who once lived on Mist with his wife Catherine. Atreus writes special linking books to transport people. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so it is the sons. Alright, well that's cool. Okay, so we got the linking book. But the question is... So that'll let us go back there. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait, what? Oh. What is this at the end? Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna read this. Oh my goodness, look how long this is. Oh my gosh, there are more things in there. Yeah, this is definitely the last. Oh my god! Oh my god! But tonight I finally rest. Okay, well, let's... Oh, Oh. Wait. What if I do... Oh, so you have to... Why? Why is it sometimes? Yeah, this is definitely the last one I'm recording for today, because this, like, tears my... Like, it stresses my voice out. Okay, I linked to Riven a week ago. The smell of the place overwhelmed me moments before I could see anything. With my sight only partially cleared, I stood motionless, peering ahead through a dim veil which was slowly lifting. There was a violent clang, and something appeared. Bars appeared. I remember breathing slowly and very deeply, tasting the familiar Riven air, but not recognizing a thing. I must have been hit with the dart right away. I thought it was an insect bite at first. I'm trying to remember it all, but it's difficult, maybe because of the drug. There was a voice. A man I did not recognize stood before me. Rivenese, though he was wearing Denis dress. He seemed to be talking to me, but the poison was already taking effect. A shadow crept in and I fell asleep. Then there were many voices, but I understood none of them. Like hundreds of people whispering, I couldn't wake up. No matter, the dream did end, and now to be here with Etty? It's been so many years, I didn't realize how much I missed her, like a piece of me that I had forgotten I'd lost. She's beautiful and so full of warmth, but the years have also left her with a wound which was not there when we were children. Oh, because Catherine is Rivenese originally or something? I do wish she were more interested. It seems like I'm asking all the questions. Okay, anyway. I write quickly from my prison. Nella will return your book, which the moiety intercepted upon your arrival. Okay, this is a note directly to us. And the moiety can somehow get to Catherine. After questioning her, I've concluded it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Geen will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you'll still need the combination to release me. Geen keeps it in his office. Then I assume we're to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't signal him before I'm released. I don't know how you signal him. Oh. I'll have to find a way to signal him. Probably from the top of the giant dome, I would imagine. But who knows? Okay. It's awkward. No one asks me where I've been or what I've been doing. This hurts, but I understand it. Their beliefs are born out of ignorance and oppression. They are a gentle people, but they've had their nest destroyed, and now they frantically cling to anything that might save them. Their nest destroyed? Okay. But why have they chosen to cling to me? I'm confused. As a child, I always felt out of place here. I never belonged. They misunderstood me, and I couldn't relate to them, but now I'm overwhelmed by an intense feeling that I owe everything to them and this place. I thought I would never see them again, and yet I'm here. I've been given this second chance, but a second chance at what? Saving them? Fulfilling their prophecies? Being their savior? And then we have a little drawing of like moon and sun and all that stuff. What does this has to give us? This will probably give us a clue or the solution to one of those marble domes, right? But then there's still one place we haven't looked, which was the top of the Great Dome. So, the moiety, Atris would want me to chronicle all that I've learned. I can at least record some of it. It seems that when Atris and I trapped Geen on Riven many years ago, our efforts were witnessed by most of the inhabitants here. 2 of the Rivenese even witnessed the confrontation with Geen at the fissure, where I linked back to Mist, and where Atris threw himself into the abyss. Of course, they understood little of what they were seeing, but they somehow were able to guess that we had won. Is that one? That Geen was no god at all, but merely only a feeble impostor, a false god, and that we had trapped him here on Riven. I always hoped they would deduce this simple truth, but their further conclusions have astonished me. Atris had stripped Geen of his power, therefore Atris must be a true god. As a god, he was choosing me, the spiritual misfit from a Rivenese womb, to be his wife. I was transcending into deity and named Lord over Riven forever. Oh, wow. Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. It's like you revere this person as a god. but they're a man, like the literal avatar of a god, and then someone else is like, nope, you're just this, and it's like, oh well, okay, yeah, he is the true god, and you're his wife, therefore you're, it makes sense, right? They're transferring their belief. Thus, the moiety, as they call themselves, were from a dissident society, sworn enemies of gain. Oh, so it's like a holy war. Interesting. I did not know of their beliefs regarding Atris and myself. By the way, just as a side note, I love. There's something I really appreciate about older games because so many old games had, due to graphical limitations and space limitations, because you installed from CDs or discs or whatever. And so what they would do is they'd include manuals. And the manuals were a lot of the personality of the game as well. Like the original Fallout, for example, came with a pretty decent manual. And it was like the Wasteland Survival Guide or something like that. And it talked about, I think the whole like first chapter was literally the science of nuclear detonations. Right? It was like, oh, this and this and that occurs, and then the radiation does this, and blah blah blah, and here's how it affects people. Like radiation affects living tissue in this way. It was really really interesting. But text and writing is like this. I love this. Because this, yes, it's tell don't show, but at the same time they're really trying, right? This is like they're doing what they can, you know. On a and on another tangent, a tangent within a tangent. That's why I hated In Other Waters so much, because it's a game that was very low tech. It was very stylistic and very low graphical fidelity, if you want to call it that. But the writing was shit. It's like not just the writing. The writing was bad, but also the story was bad as well. Because at least these people, you know, it's consistent. The worlds are consistent. Mostly. The whole the whole world being one big puzzle. Like, I don't know that I agree with that, but whatever. But they're trying to make the worlds consistent, you know. But then you have In Other Waters where you basically, the main character unleashes this freaking, or she unlocks quarantine on this weird alien fungus that's spreading all over the station, and she's like, we can't be bound by the past. That's why I'm undoing quarantine and letting this fungus spread everywhere. It's like, haven't you seen horror movies? That's how people die. Like, it's okay, just breathe the spores into your lungs. Like, it's not like it's using your best friend's body as a host. Like, I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Like, come on. you know but yeah, I really really appreciate that they're trying to make up for it, right? They have this grand narrative and these grand ideas, and they can't really do it with graphics, and they can't really do it with, they're doing it how they can. And even I would also argue that maybe this is more immersive than games today, right? Because how often have you gone into some of these worlds and you know where the worlds make sense, because here everything's five is the holy number. Everything, rooms are shaped like five. There's five animals. There's, things are in sets of five. The numbers have a certain look to them. The architecture seems to be a certain way. I mean, kind of. There's a lot of creativity, but how often do you see that stuff today? now that graphics are way better. Rarely. That's why even now, like you look at the image below and you're like, wow, that looks amazing. Right? When have you seen something like that in the past 10 years? Maybe even 20. Like, when did this game come out? 97. Okay, so that was almost 30 years ago. Yeah. Right? Almost 30 years ago. No, 20 years? 30 years. Anyway, even if in the past 20 years, when did you see anything like that? Very rarely. You know? So anyway, okay. Okay. I did not know of their beliefs regarding Atris and myself until 2 days ago. Etty was for some reason hesitant to tell me. I can't figure out why. I know she doesn't believe these things. Of course, everyone else assumed that I would be aware of my own god status, so they made no effort to inform me. I only realized it at a recent gathering to which I was invited. I sat at the front of a dimly lit and crowded cave as they told me a mythical story of my own life, acting out the battle between Atris, myself, and Geen at the edge of the fissure. The events, which is really weird, like they're fighting each other with books. The events had been exaggerated into grandiose proportions. It was offensive, but I was unable to stop it. I was unable to break the illusion, which is the very foundation of their hope and purpose, and which has given them courage to band together and rebel against Geen. Yeah. Since then, I've learned of other doctrines and beliefs that have evolved, the most disturbing of which is the conviction that one day I would return to Riven to face them, or free them. Some believe I will overthrow Geen, others believe that I will bring them to paradise. I don't know what that is. Language of some kind? I don't know how to deal with this. I fight it myself. I fight myself. I love these people, my only real kindred, but they will not love me as an equal, which hurts me. I'd rather be their slave than their master. Don't know about that one. And then so we have the dagger symbol. Presumably that's Geen. I don't know. That almost looks like a symbol, right? With the thing at the bottom, but also a little face and something. Over the years, as Geen's power has become greater and greater, the moieties' numbers have grown, and they have become more and more adept at hiding themselves. They now live in a complete, complex network of caves that he still has not discovered. The moiety, for the most part, have completely severed their relationship with any of the Rivenese that chose against joining them. But I hope they've not sacrificed vital limbs in order to remove the cancer. Even Father and... Man, I wonder if the remake of this, if it's still cursive. Because people, they don't teach cursive in schools these days, I think. Even Father and something are still on the surface in Geen's domains, and I long to see them, but a dimness shrouds Etty's face every time I've mentioned them. Since this break took place, they have interfered with the surface in superficial ways, occasionally sabotaging one of Geen's constructions, or stealing food from the villagers. They wear strange masks and costumes during their short forays to the island's surface, and take this regalia very seriously, refusing to be seen by anyone outside the moiety unless they are properly attired. It's understandable, actually. If they can't see your face, you're a bit more scary. There's psychology behind it. They get much pleasure out of the fact those on the surface are frightened by these costumes, calling them evil spirits or ghosts. It was during one of these expeditions that they fortuitously rescued me from one of Gein's guards when I first appeared on the island. Otherwise, I'm sure I would have been delivered to Gein immediately, kind of like us. I've no doubt that he's now searching for me. Of course, well, he did capture her though. Of course, I'm now aware that I was fooled. Atris is not here. I was at first devastated by this realization. Now I am thankful he would be in extreme peril here. Also, there is a guilt, quiet inner voice, an echoing remnant that wants him far away. I have just witnessed an age dying, gasping its last breath. Today I ventured to the surface to see what has become of this island. I hoped it would not be as bad as the moiety had reported. It was worse. They had become slowly accustomed to its steady decay, but I was devastated. The lips from which the kiss is wrought, as fallen words will fall cold breath. The want from which the cry released has suffered hurt, will suffer death. An interesting poem. To get to the surface, we had to travel through a complex series of doors and passages. Before the last of these doors, they offered me a weapon, which I accepted, and then a mask. I held the mask in my hands for a while, wondering what sort of terror it might invoke in those members of my family who still live on the surface. But I also knew I must keep my identity hidden from Gein's ever-vigilant eye, so I accepted it as well. Then, together, we swam a short expanse and emerged out of the surface of the ocean under a rocky overhang. The harsh sunlight made my eyes sting, but the fresh, rich air was exhilarating after these past weeks in the dank cave. The two men with me were silent, communicating only with hand signals. The three of us emerged from our hiding place and made our way to the top of the plateau. At the edge of a thick and overgrown area of the forest, they stopped, peered through the foliage for a moment, and then turned to me as if awaiting my command, but I could not respond, in fact. I found it difficult to move. I was smelling, hearing, and breathing my youth. This swept over me in a matter of seconds, but in seconds more, all feeling was gone. There was numbness. We did not stay long in the surface, but it was long enough to see the worst. Riven, which was once an island, had split apart into 5 distinct pieces about half a mile apart. 4 of these have been claimed by Gein as his exclusive domain. Only his ministers and personal militia are ever allowed access to them. Oh, interesting. From my vantage point at the edge of the forest, I could see 3 of these islands. They are stripped of their former beauty and are riddled with Gein's self-absorbed constructions. The moiety merely visit these closely guarded places. There is another island which I could not see, as it had evidently crept away to a terrific distance. Well, that must be is that where we are now? Because I saw a big stump right for this one below us. The moiety are very unclear as to what exists on this island, except for the fact that they know it is where the great tree used to exist. The forest is located on the island that the surface dwellers and the moiety still refer to as Riven, but they also still refer to the entire world as Riven. This island is where the village is, which has changed dramatically. Okay, hang on. Where the great tree used to exist. Okay. So the jungle island used to have the great tree, I guess. It is also the only, or one one remaining province of the people, though Gein's influence can be seen everywhere. Okay. Right. Are these the 4 islands, I guess? Yeah, this must be the Plateau Island. I don't remember seeing a big dagger, but okay. Crater Island, Temple Island with another dagger, and the Jungle Island. Oh, is that a great tree? Or maybe that's a huge stump. Who knows? Of course, I know the reason for the fracturing of the island. The moiety do not. Gein wrote this place, and it will die as all of Gein's ages eventually die. I feel nothing today. I am nothing. They live in a cave on a dying world, inhabited by people that they're treating me so strangely. They don't know how to relate to a god. I'm still an outcast here. They whisper among themselves, talking of my bravery during my excursion to the surface. I walked across the island bold and unafraid. They don't know me. Even Eddie is uncomfortable around me. At times there is no awkwardness, and I am only Katrin to her. But at other times I am something else. I'm afraid there's such a gaunt, great, such say great numbness inside me. Today I do not feel closeness with my people, neither am I offended by their worship of me. I do not hate Gein. I don't feel anything. I'm not even sure of. At least Nella is still close. We have some scribbles, like a person holding a giant dagger. The 5. The Rivenese star, I guess. Excuse me. I am boiling. Gein is making and writing books. I wish they had told me sooner. Atris should have realized this would happen, of course. Gein would have written all of the materials necessary to the Denis craft of making books into this age, and probably every other age he ever wrote. He's attempting to write his way out of here. We did not imprison him. We only delayed him. This age has become his factory, and the people are his machines. All laboring in his mad pursuit to become a god, to carry on his mad his noble Denis cause. So far, he has not been able to produce a fully functional book. Atris has never believed in destiny, but I don't know what else to call it. It's too perfect. It's too much of a coincidence. They hang on my every word, though they do not understand them. I am their hope, and now I have returned. I was going to say, she does speak their language, I would imagine. I owe this to them. There is no choice. Okay, so this is that ice cream cone thing. Maybe that's where she's trapped in there. Right, there's a switch. I think we did that, though. That's what powers it, I guess. It's been a long time since my last entry. It is hard to recognize, but I have found the Star Fisher. Oh, that's what that is, I guess. Is located on the island which the Rivenese call Alapo, meaning water pool, but which is referred to by the moiety as Alatuan, meaning pool of stars. Having since allowed Etris to escape this age without leaving an open door behind us, it has since been sealed with a skin of heavy iron. A crude telescope has been mounted over a locked viewport, the combination to which was acquired by the moiety before my arrival. Okay. And then this says stop. Why does it say stop there? Okay. Well, what do we do with that? Okay. Okay. Combination 2. Eh. I'll write it here at the bottom. Combination combo 2. I'll say combo 2 metal ice cream. Because I remember that. Okay, so it's... Okay. Oh. Okay. So it is 2, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4. I don't know what this means, but maybe you hit the... I mean, it should open, but I wonder what the button does then. You know, there's that button on the side. Okay. Well, anyway. All right. In the early days, the moiety, seeking an escape from Riven, briefly pursued the idea of reopening the fissure. They discovered a small mechanical stop to prevent the scope from hitting the portal window. Prevent the scope. Okay. Ultimately, however, they decide against opening it. I hate to think what would have happened to them if they had not left it alone. I've instructed them to stay away from it. I'm almost certain that with the decayed state of the world, of the islands, opening the fissure would be disastrous. Opening the fissure now. So we'll probably have to go try that. Right. We'll probably do it at the end. Like, that's probably what's going to happen with Geen. Like, he's going to take the book and be like, you thought you could trick me or something, right? But then, I don't know. I've heard in the days immediately following Geen's confinement on Riven, he attempted to determine the feasibility of navigating the stars beneath the fissure, for he had seen the mist book fall from Atris' hands into that very same space. To this end, he would have people, alleged transgressors of the law, thrown into it so that he could observe their fate. This telescope, which still stands there, is one he had built for these callous experiments. It is said they did not die, but what became of them remains a mystery. It appears that the limits of Geen's optics prevented him from learning their fate. The star field beneath the fissure is not as it seems. It is a gentle space, as hospitable to life as a flowing river. This is how Atris explained it, after he had fallen into it. But much more than that we've never understood, and we were never able to conclude upon its origins. But the visions tell me that it was born out of the will of the Maker, perhaps for some greater purpose that we cannot yet understand. I still remember Atris' words from his journal. I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse. There must be some greater reason behind it. I neglected to mention it earlier, the unique shape of one of the great daggers which appeared during our escape from Riven. The very dagger that stands vertically at one end of the Alatuan has been adopted by the moiety as the symbol of their cause. It is a sacred symbol for them. It is the representation of all of their doctrine and their representation of me. To deface this symbol is sacrilege. They have their own mythical experiment or explanation regarding its sudden origins. I hadn't told them that I wrote it into this age, along with all the other daggers. It's strange how such a young religion can be so unbending, even to their own god. I've tried to dissuade them of the notion that symbols contain so much power. The enemy uses this paranoia against them. They are fearful of Gein's symbol and are terrorized by his symbolic use of the wark. But they don't want to hear this from me. Perhaps my attempts were even, or have even caused some of the younger members of the moiety to doubt that I'm Catherine. My rare encounters with those who say they follow Gein have been discouraging. I have hoped to have some communication with the surface villagers, but they always flee from me. But I have heard news of some of the villagers' beliefs regarding Gein. Soon after we trapped Gein on Riven, he claimed that he was responsible for the daggers, placing them around the village or around the island as a reminder of their failure. In the village circles, it is told that this was a punitive act performed by Gein to mark the beginning of a period of restitution, at the end of which, if they have proven their devotion to him, they will be delivered unto a new and better existence. Well, yeah, he's creating a new world. I will continue to try to reach them. The door is open. Gein is free. And Gein is free? Gein has the ability to create working books. In fact, he had written one age before I arrived, but has kept this accomplishment so well hidden that only his closest ministers were aware until now. I'm not sure, perhaps he has written others. Other news, a few years ago, before the moiety were forced into hiding, one of them managed to steal what appeared to be a test book that Gein had intended to destroy. It had been partially written but did not work. They didn't tell me about it until now because they thought it was useless. Back then, none of Gein's books worked. But instead of correcting the problem at its source, he blamed it on the impure wood of the Riven forest and proceeded to engineer a cumbersome mechanical remedy, a complex series of domes, to heal his book's inherent flaws. One of the consequences of this crude solution, however, was that the domes demanded huge amounts of energy, and the related problems delayed his success for quite some time. Yeah, so Gein's not really good at this. At last, however, he finished his work and was finally able to link to an age, but he kept his success extremely well hidden. However, for some reason or another, belligerent pride, he has made modifications to the domes, which make it obvious that he's using the domes to breathe life into his half-dead books. Perhaps he means to cure something into using the books in the domes, lure us into using the books in the domes. He can't believe that we would kindly swallow this suicidal act. Suicidal something. But he wouldn't know that we have one of his books, the stolen burnt book. There's a possibility of have read burnt book. Age it describes would be unsuitable as new home for the moiety must be modified. I will dream. Have requested a group to solve combination that will open the domes. Once open, we can power the burnt book. I do not think Gein will interfere. He will have the bait. He will leave the bait. Have begun writing the moiety's age. Now must acquire second book from Gein. There is tension. A strain blurs my vision. And nightmares. Ella and Etty stay close. Oh, so this is she created this world, like this world for them. Much has happened. Almost everything is prepared. We have stolen another book, but I'm concerned Geen will miss it. We have also discovered the combinations for entering the domes, but we have not discovered the method for powering them. By powering our burnt book with Geen's domes, we will be able to link to this age, but we will only have access to the domes for a short time before we are discovered. Therefore, we can only use the domes once. I must find another way to make the books work. The gateway images in Geen's books and our burnt book all seem to share the same sickness. If they are not powered, the images are black. It might be possible to clear the vision with only blank. We'll write substance into the moiety age. All is ready. Hopefully this is almost done. Now all we can do is wait for word from the Moetian-esque, who are on the lookout for Geen to power, and we use the domes. When he does that, we will have access to some of Geen's domes just long enough. After linking to the age which I've written, I only have to locate the book window substance, and refine it or adapt it. Laying this window over the gateway image should heal the books and make them work. This will allow me to use the second stolen book and return to Riven with more of the book windows. We will then no longer have to rely on Geen's clumsy domes. Got it. So there's the two books that they stole are the ones that go back and forth between the Moetes world and Riven. I laugh at these plans. I sound like Atris. I'm risking my life, but I feel no fear, only anxiety. Perhaps it is the source of my nightmares. The fissure, like a great wound, is opened. It stains the Riven soil with blood. I hold the moiety knife. The voices grow so loud. For their part, the moiety have complete faith that I will accomplish my task and lead them to a better world. It is the fulfillment of their prophecy, but they are also fearful and tense. I don't know what they'll think or do if I fail. It is done. It seems too good to be true. I feel like it's all still a dream. We have already evacuated all of the moiety to this new age. It is beautiful, and I am pleased. At last my people will live in safety and comfort. They stand under the bare sky, unafraid, and dazzled by their freedom. They are happy. They have named it Tay. There's still much to be done. We are not protected yet. The only way to completely safeguard this place is to destroy the book, which links to here from Riven, but I do not even know how to bring this up. The moiety, they will be extremely reluctant about destroying their only link to Riven. I share this hesitation. I would be cutting off my only connection, but for their sake it must be done. I'm anxious to know if our activities have aroused Geen's suspicions. If so, we must act quickly. Even so, I feel that now we are impregnable. Tomorrow I will return to Riven to see Geen's reaction for myself, but tonight I finally rest. Okay, let us save. So we have read all of that. We got a combination to the thing. I don't know. So we got the combination to the Starfisher. I don't know what that's going to open or what opening it does. And then Geen gave us the coded access system for the domes, but what those numbers are, I couldn't tell you. Because they look weird. So yeah, Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. What we did with this episode was basically we read the book. We read Catherine's journal, and we got our okay, so that's an hour and a half. So yeah, so I think this whole episode we just read her journal. Last episode we got to Tay or whatever it is, the Moetes world, and I have a feeling we're not even going to be able to get to that fifth island because it's just gone, and that's not. The fifth island is not this world. This world is a different world. Maybe that's where the great tree was, because it's a giant ass stump. Yeah, okay, but yeah. So, like I said, thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. Questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent. Let me hear them. I do read all of them. I do try and respond to all of them as well. What is your guys' unique positive moment for today? For me, I'm gonna say I did the insect spraying this morning. Like I have my own. I just got like a sprayer and basically commercial pesticides, and I just spray the outside of the foundation, you know, and there you go. That's it. I spray it every like once a quarter ish. Basically, when I start seeing bugs come in the house, that's when I spray. That way it and I spray the minimum amount. Like it doesn't. So it's I'm trying to not get them to build up resistances, which they can. So that's it. That's all. That's my unique positive moment. Hopefully your guys just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. And I hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.